Controversy in the courtroom. The judge in the Casey Anthony trial allowing prosecutors show, well, controversial pieces of evidence. A photo, take a look at this, of Casey and Kaylee Anthony with a photo of the young girl's skull superimposed over her face, then an image of the duct tape superimposed over the mouth. Well, defense attorney Jose Baez seemed to be outraged. He repeatedly called for a mistrial because of this. If Casey Anthony is found guilty, could this help her win an appeal? With us again, our legal panel, Vicki Ziegler, Robert Schalk, and Joey Jackson. So, Robert, look, if the prejudicial effect outweighs any probative value, it could be, arguably, reversible error. What do you think?
It could be. Do I think it is? No, but I think a point that I would make is, was it necessary evidence for the prosecution?
It wasn't.
Did they have to put this type of evidence before the jury?
Right.
I say they didn't, because they're now creating an appellate issue for a defendant that, if there is a conviction, could throw their conviction into the air.
You know, Joey, I want to play a piece from Thursday. Casey Anthony is crying in court, and it was an incredibly emotional day because jurors were looking at these gruesome photographs of Kaylee Anthony's remains, and the defendant then begins wailing in the courtroom. I mean, she is crying so hard she becomes ill. She had to be escorted out of the courtroom. How does that impact the jury? Does that create sympathy for her?
You know what, Greg? Under normal circumstances, in a normal trial, I would say it absolutely does, because jurors are people, and any one of us on this panel could relate to someone who's lost their child. But in this instance, Greg, I don't think so, and here's why. You're dealing with already a case where they laid out, the prosecution that is, fact upon fact that she lied about, that she fabricated, that she basically this fiction. And so I think there's a significant trust issue that the jury doesn't trust her. They don't know what to believe. They think that she's just out there. Yeah. And as a result of that, I don't think it helps at all. It's another part of the act, according to them.
All right, I want to play a clip here. This is from the opening statement of the defense attorney, Jose Baez. And, you know, he makes a big deal about the man who discovered the body of little Kaylee. His name is Roy Kronk. He is a meter reader. And the defense attorney made a pretty outrageous claim that Kronk tampered with the body. Take a look.
Mr. Kronk is a morally bankrupt individual who actually took Kaylee's body and hid her.
Now, Vicki, is that the kind of thing that could create reasonable doubt? On the other hand, if he doesn't prove it, my goodness.
And he can't prove it. We know that. Just because somebody happened to be at a location, a meter reader, and has a poor past, that doesn't mean they're on a conspiracy regarding this murder or had anything to do with it. I think it's ridiculous. It's almost as saying the dog somehow in this case had they were conspiratorial. It doesn't make sense. Most of Jose Baez's opening did not make sense. And that's the question. He can't prove most of it, but they don't have the burden. The prosecution does.
Robert, is that the kind of wild accusation, if unproven, could really anger the jurors toward the defense?
Absolutely. As Vicki said, the defense has no burden of proof. And by getting in front of the jury and making accusations and telling them this is what you're going to learn, you're going to hear this, that almost shifts the burden to the defense, and that is another appealable issue that Mr. Baez has created for his client, an ineffective assistance of counsel claim.
Look, there was a computer expert, Joey, who took the witness stand this week. He testified that somebody searched the internet in the Anthony home on the computer for phrases like neck-breaking, shovel, household weapons, and 84 searches. It's unbelievable. Well, for chloroform, or how to make chloroform.
Here's the problem, Greg. That, of course, is damaging, but how you deal with it as a defense attorney is significant, and I don't think it was dealt with properly. I'm certain that there were significant other searches on that computer having nothing to do with chloroform. Those searches were in short duration, without question. There were only a few of them over a couple of days. All of these things needed to be highlighted to the jury so that you can create doubt. It should have been made a so what issue. It was not, and that's going to be damaging.
And you know what struck me? Tests performed on the tissue and the hair of the victim show no evidence of chloroform. So it's a mystery, and you know what mysteries do? They create reasonable doubt. Vicki Ziegler, Joey Jackson, Robert Schalk, good to see you. Thank you.
Pleasure, Greg.
Heather?